Hey, Ro, good evening.
Hi, Amar. How have you been?
Great, man. Good to see you. I remember, when was it? In 2016, I was at your uh, party, celebration party
You were. Well,
on election
we
night.
first met, as you know, in
I know.
2003. You supported, I think you supported my first run against Tom Lantos, and you supported Kamala Harris when she was running for district attorney of San Francisco. So, kind of community has come a long way in 15 years.
And great to see you. You had a great victory in your district. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you for all the support. And it's great to be here with Indiaspora. And I saw the segment earlier with Raj Goyal, who's just been fantastic, and Deepak Raj and Impact and the work he's doing with Neil is terrific. And of course, you got a lot of this started with the idea of uh, having a network of Indian Americans across the country who had succeeded in so many fields, whether it was entrepreneurship or the arts or in the academic world and in public service, and to bring them together to have to draw on our rich heritage, our traditions, and make a contribution to the United States and to the world. And I salute that vision, Emma, and you should be very proud of how much impact you've had.
Well, thank you so much, Ro, and you as well. So let me ask you this. So you've been reelected with a big majority. There's looks like there's going to be a new president for the United States. I know you were very close to Bernie Sanders and his
Yes.
vision. How does all this gel as we move forward into 2021?
Well, I think you're going to see a lot of coalescing around President Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris initially to tackle the pandemic, to get stimulus to people, a sense of first 100 days that we really all need to be in the same direction. Now, I have to say in candor that if we don't get the Senate, that's going to be an obstacle because you're going to have a Republican Senate that could pose potential for gridlock. And so we're going to have to see whether we can win the Senate, and if not, how we can be unified in getting something done for the country.
Sanjeev?
And yeah, Ro,
Hi,
welcome.
Sanjeev.
Hey, hi. Great to have you here. Let me get your thoughts on one issue that is of great interest to Indiaspora members. I mean, you are obviously, in California, in the heart of Silicon Valley, where you represent lots of employees, lots of, companies in your district and so forth. And that's an area you've been active in terms of policy. We have a lot of members here at Indiaspora who are also in that space, several of whom you know. Just a quick question. I mean, I know this is something that can go on for, an hour. There's been congressional testimonies about it, as you know, Ro, but just quickly at a headline level, what are your thoughts about the large tech companies, the Googles, the Facebooks, the Amazons of the world? What do you think about them? Too powerful, not doing good? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think we need a balanced view. I mean, on the one hand, these companies have been extraordinary in getting information, making it accessible to people across the world, making products accessible to people across the world, facilitating relationships. Their approval ratings are still very high, higher than any politician. I think Amazon, even though I've been critical, was at 78% favorability. Google was in the 70s. Apple was in the 60s. Facebook is a little underwater, although even their approval rating is probably higher than any current American politician. But what we have to make sure is that these platforms aren't abusing their dominance, that they're not restricting other businesses to have access to their platforms, that they aren't prioritizing their own products, that they're dealing fairly with sellers, that they're not acquiring competitors. So I'm not for taking a chainsaw and breaking up companies that are innovative, but I think what we need is well-crafted regulation to make sure that they're not exploiting the advantages of their own platforms.
Great. And as you move forward with the new Congress, what kind of committees are you in, and what do you plan to use your committees to, what kind of work and initiatives and so forth?
No, believe it or not, Emma, I'm becoming a little bit senior. I'll be in my third term, and so I'll have quite a senior role in the Armed Services Committee. It'll be my third term on that, and that covers over 50% of the federal budget is defense. So we have authorization over the entire federal defense budget and a lot of issues concerning that. And I will be on the Oversight Committee. And the Oversight Committee deals with a lot of issues relating to the federal government. I had a bill to modernize the federal agencies and federal government with the latest technology, and we'll continue to do work on that. And then I'm on the Budget Committee. So those are my 3 assignments, and a lot of my priorities will still be regarding the economic issue. What do we need to do to prepare people for a global economy in the digital age? How do we get tech skills and tech jobs? And how do we not have them concentrated just in the Valley or in Seattle? As Satya, who has a great book, calls it, what is the tech proficiency of every institution, of every community, and how do we get the tech intensity, the tech proficiency to be greater in preparing for a digital age?
No, and I know you've done a lot of work taking a bus tour through Middle America and doing all kinds of stuff. So really appreciate that outreach, because when people look at Silicon Valley or Seattle, they see something very different than you or I living in around here. So I think I appreciate your efforts to kind of move that forward. Also, the other thing, Ro, I know you've been reaching across the island, and maybe I know you have a good friend on the other side, Mike Gallagher. Can you walk us through how a Republican and a Democrat work together? Because it seems
Mike's
like
a great friend.
He's not a concept we can even fathom.
Yeah, no, Mike's a great guy. He was a Marine, served this country very admirably, PhD, very, very smart. And we did a bill together, the Endless Frontier Act, which is a bipartisan bill, calls for $100 billion investment in tech hubs across America. And, he understands that that's important for Wisconsin, and it's important for innovation. And of course, as the Silicon Valley Congressman, I'm always for investment in science and technology. So the hope is it's something that Biden has championed in his campaign. And the hope is that, now that could actually become law. That's the kind of bipartisan commitment to innovation, to job creation that we need to move the country forward.
Sanjeev, you have one last question.
I do have one last question.
Yeah, of course.
Ro, you're one of the few federal elected officials who has sworn off contributions from lobbyists and PACs. And I'm just curious, I think that's a very noble stand on principle, but I'm just curious, doesn't it put you in a big sort of fundraising market like California, an expensive market, so to speak, for a politician? Doesn't that put you at a competitive disadvantage against opponents?
In candor, it doesn't, because I have had plenty of incredible supporters like Emar who know half the Valley and have introduced me to so many people who can be supportive. And that's one thing I point out, that it's easier for me to do a no-PAC pledge coming out of Silicon Valley, where I've been so fortunate for the Indian American community and the tech community to back me. It's harder if you come from a district that doesn't have that same economic success. And that's why we need across-the-board campaign finance reform, where I've said every voter should be able to become a donor, and we ought to give people up to $50 that they can contribute to federal campaigns. So we democratize the donor base and allow everyone to raise money the way Bernie Sanders does. But you don't have to be as famous as Bernie Sanders to be able to do that. So I think we need structural reform, but I've been very, very blessed to have a lot of people believe in me, and I've been very, very grateful. I've always said I wouldn't be in politics. I wouldn't have made it, certainly, to the Congress without the early support and unconditional support of the Indian American community. It's been a amazing journey, and it literally started with MRI. I think MRI introduced me to so many people, and I'll always appreciate that.
Well, Ro, thank you so much. We won't keep you long, but really appreciate you coming on. And we have had, like I said today, all 4 of you in the House join us, and so that
great.
Really makes me proud. So,
well,
thank you.
You're doing great work, and I'm a big fan of all of my colleagues. We're genuinely good friends, Ami, Pramila, and Raja, and so it's been nice working with them. And let's see, Harold's race is pretty close in Arizona, so we may get one more.
Great. Thank you, Ro. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.